guys, welcome to another video. This week I'm going to be making some birthday cards using some creative ideas that I thought would be fun to share. There are quite a few materials that I used to make these, but as always there will be a list in the description as to what you'll need for each card. So getting started with this first card, I'm going to take some watercolor paper and I'm going to use a white crayon to write a message here on the front. It's going to be hard to see, but I'm hoping that when the watercolor paint goes on top of it, that it'll read well. This will work similarly to how the clear crayon works in Easter egg dyeing kits, that the paint will avoid where the wax of the crayon is to reveal the message. And I didn't test this beforehand, but luckily my plan worked, and it did end up revealing the message that I wrote underneath with the crayon. It's not ideal how it turned out, but it's not too bad considering I couldn't really see where I was writing. I wanted to take this idea a step further and also try one where I used colored pencil instead of the crayon. I had the same issue where I couldn't really see where I was writing. On this one I was really just hoping that I was layering the colored pencil thick enough so that the paint wouldn't seep through the grain of the paper. And this ended up working as well, but definitely less contrast than the crayon. And onto the card making process. I did list all of the dimensions of the paper I'm using down in the description. For the most part, you'll just need the design, one 3x6 inch piece of paper folded in half hot dog style, and two 6x6 inch pieces of cardstock paper to make one card. And what I'm going to do is use that 3x6 inch piece of paper folded in half as the crease of the card, and I'll glue one 6x6 inch square piece of cardstock paper to each side of the fold, making sure to press down hard on the paper so that the glue sticks, and then I'll glue my design onto the front of the card. Onto the second card, it's just following the same steps to glue it together. For the next couple of cards, I'll be using some fancy scrapbook paper along with my own doodles to create some custom birthday cards. Since this particular scrapbook paper has a decorative border, I'm just going to be cutting off a piece and gluing it to the bottom of the card to mimic the top, just to balance out the design. And even though I picked this paper originally because I was going to leave it saying friends on the front, I decided to cover that up with a gold piece of scrapbook paper. That way I can put my own message on this card. I'm just going to go over my message and my doodle here with some black pen to make it visible. And for the next card, I'm going to do something fairly similar. I'm just going to add some additional layers of different colored cardstocks and scrapbook papers, while also incorporating some of my doodles as well. And on this card I'm drawing a giraffe, and because of that I'm going to add some color to this one just to differentiate the spots, and then I'm gluing everything together. And onto the last card. This one's definitely my favorite. I decided to go with a bunch of scrapbook papers with cool finishes. The main reason I'm making this birthday card is because I had this happy birthday confetti to use, and I decided I wanted to make a shaker birthday card with it. So I'm taking some small plastic snack bags and cutting off the zipper seals, placing in a couple of happy birthday confetti pieces, as well as a couple of leftover sequins from when I made my mermaid vase. And I'm using some leftover double-sided adhesive from one of the craft kits that I did a video on, and that way I can seal the confetti inside the plastic. And to glue the plastic to the white cardstock sheet, I'm going to use some super glue. I was worried that regular glue stick glue wasn't going to do it, and that it would end up falling off because it's plastic glued to paper and not just paper on paper. And I'm also going to make a second shaker. This way there's multiple levels of confetti. Just gluing this down with crazy glue as well. I really want to make sure it's secured because the idea is that you shake the card I would hate for it to fall apart. Now for this blue glittery paper, cutting it to match the size of the white cardstock. And now I'm just measuring around the pockets I've created here so that I can create a window in this blue paper, essentially creating a frame for the confetti pockets on this card. And this frame will cover up any of the visible adhesive or glue that was used to attach the pockets. And I'm so used to pulling out my X-Acto blade for things like this, or my utility knife in order to cut windows and things, but I realized that this paper cutter I have actually has the ability, because it has such a small blade, to cut out these small windows. And now to start gluing things together, I am going to use the crazy glue to glue this frame around here just because it does come in contact with some of the plastic and I want to make sure it stays on. Also want to add the message to the front of this. I'm actually going to use a piece of the confetti in this case since it already says happy birthday. Just gluing that on, using the point of the scissors here to make sure that it's pressed up against the paper just because I don't want to get the glue on my fingers. And even though I'm gluing paper to paper with this yellow and this glittery blue, because of the texture of the glitter I want to make sure that it's glued down, so also using crazy glue there. The last thing is going to be just gluing this whole piece onto the pink card. I don't have any concerns about any of the texture or this glue not sticking, so definitely glue stick used here is fine. Just really have to make sure that you press down hard so the glue sticks. And that wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you decide to try out some of these fun ideas, and I'll see you next week.